Hello, welcome to the Liberated Multitasker. I hope you like chicken pot pies. Today we're going to be making a traditional chicken pot pie and then mini chicken pot pies. So come join me. We're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. I will be using rotisserie chickens, but any cooked chicken, whether it's a whole chicken, 4 chicken breasts, or 6 to 7 chicken thighs will be fine. I'm going to use a can of veg all drained, a can of cream of chicken soup. I scoop that all out. And next I'm going to cube 4 ounces of cream cheese. So I'm going to put 4 ounces in each batch. I've cubed it so it will blend up well. And just go stir it all in. So this is one recipe for one chicken pot pie if you're going to put it in a pie plate with the crust on top. The second one, I'm going to see how many pie crust I need to make individual chicken pot pies. So we're just going to stir all this in together. And now it's time to get ready and pour it in our pie plate. Now this is the recipe I got from my mother-in-law, but we did adapt it. So we wanted it creamier and thicker, and so that's when we drained the juice and added the cream cheese. And another thing we did was, instead of putting biscuits on top, we just did a homemade pie crust. So I'm just going to pat it all down. It's pretty full. And sprinkle some Joe Daddies on top just to add a little extra flavor. And the only thing left will be to add our pie crust on top. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and get this other bowl mixed up. And this is the bowl I'm going to use for the mini chicken pot pies. Now our next step will be to prepare our pie crust. You can buy yours. These are ones that I've already pre-made, and I'll link the recipe down below. It is our favorite. Now, if you've pre-made your pie crust, what you'll want to do is set them out on the counter a couple of hours before you plan to use them, or put them in the refrigerator the night before. So I floured my surface. I've got my little rolling pin, and I floured it, and I'm just rolling it out big enough so I can lay it on top of my pie. I am trying to make it more round, so I'm using my dough scraper to cut it and kind of pat it back in so it's more of the shape that I like. I have a hard time rolling it out in the circle. So I'm just about done there. And so I'm using my rolling pin just to roll it so I can move it on the pie. And in case something gets a little sticky, I'll use the dough scraper. And then I just lay it on top. I'll work with the edges because this is nothing but goodness. This is our favorite pie crust to use to make. And I like to keep them on hand because this is also the pie crust I use for my apple tarts when I make those. Any type of ham pies or any pie, small or big, these are wonderful pie crusts to use. So I'm going to use this little tool just to cut some holes in the pie so it can vent. And it's ready to go in the oven. So I normally bake this at 375 degrees for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Now I'm going to get ready to make my mini chicken pot pies. Now I've never tried this before, but I was thinking about my apple tarts and thought, why don't I make them like apple tarts, but instead of putting my apple pie filling, put my chicken pot pie filling inside. So with each pie crust, I'm going to try to get 4 chicken pot pies. And so I've just cut them into fourths, and I'm going to roll them out and see how many it takes. And I think we just about got the right size. I've got it rolled out big enough where I think it can hold a decent amount of pie filling. This is trial and error. I've not made these before, so I have to kind of play around with how much filling to put in each mini pie. Now I want to sprinkle some Joe Daddies on each one. I will forget on some, but my plan is to put Joe Daddies on each pie filling before I close it up. So I'm playing around with exactly how to seal them. I started off thinking I would use the fork. Mostly I think it works better when I put my finger in water and run it around and then just kind of fold those edges together. But right now I'm just trying to figure that all out. I'm using my little tool to cut some little holes in the top, and then I'll put them on my baking sheet. One down, many more to go. I'll go ahead and tell you, I end up using 3 pie crusts on the mini pies, but I had filling left over. So I ended up making a little mini casserole for me and my husband for dinner that night. So in the future, I know that one batch of chicken pot pie filling will probably take 4 pie crust if I'm doing mini pies. And I do think I prefer them this way. It takes a lot more crust, so if you're looking for low calorie or low carb, that's not the way to go. But they are very handy and I like them. So I did end up doing some food preps with these. And I shared some with family because that was more chicken pot pie than we needed to have in the freezer. So I got 3 meals out of the 1 chicken pot pie, and I ended up with 12 mini pies with enough filling left over for a casserole. So next time I will know 1 chicken pot pie filling, 4 pie crust, and I can end up with 16 mini chicken pot pies. And I think I will do this again. So with the big pie, I cook it for about 45 minutes to an hour at 375. The mini pies will take about 30 minutes at 375. So I have my oven on convection bake, so I'm able to add these hand pies to cook while my big pie is still cooking. And here you have it. Here's my chicken pot pie, the way we normally make it. Still all bubbly on the inside. And here are my mini pies. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you soon.